Technology that we faced was far superior than anything that we had.
Our government has told you that much.
The Department of Defense has released news of a worrying pattern of UFO-concentrated sightings at sensitive locations, especially in Japanese cities that have a history of nuclear activity and active war zones in the Middle East.
Something strange is happening.
You're not alone in the universe.
What exactly are those locations, and why do those particular ones matter? What potential reason could possible extraterrestrials have to surveil those sites? Join us as we reveal those locations and uncover the reasons why aliens would go after those exact spots.
Turns out that governments have been taking them seriously all along.
We have clear things that we do not understand how they work.
The Pentagon has a history of hiding UFO sightings, or as they call them, UAPs, and such events usually go under the radar or end up displayed as a different story. But now things are getting heated up, especially after the recent congressional hearing regarding UFOs, where an ex-worker claimed to have been included in a project regarding UFOs and claimed to have witnessed retrieving remains of non-human biologics.
The government has been doing this for 80 years and keeping it secret. There's a crash retrieval program. There's a back engineering program.
There's a secret government within our government.
Even former military personnel such as Ryan Graves, the current executive director of Americans for Safe Aerospace, who formerly worked as a U.S. Navy pilot, came out with sightings regarding UFOs and the lack of plans and mechanisms the U.S. government has set to defend against such threats.
I have experienced advanced UAP firsthand, and I'm here to voice the concerns of more than 30 commercial aircrew and military veterans who have confided their similar encounters with me.
Even Mexico is taking this matter seriously, as they held their own congressional hearing revealing the bodies of alleged aliens and are considering setting up a law and being formally the first country to accept the existence of extraterrestrial life.
Mexican aliens, there's been a major development. The evidence points to them being from a different world.
The Department of Defense has revealed a concentration of UFO sightings in sensitive regions. Specifically, there have been numerous sightings in Japanese cities associated with nuclear activity like Hiroshima, Nagasaki, and Fukushima, as well as active war zones in the Middle East.
One flying object that has experts baffled.
Where it came from and what it was doing remain a mystery to the Pentagon.
In Japan, places like Hiroshima and Nagasaki, which were tragically hit by atomic bombs at the end of World War II, have witnessed a high number of sightings. Additionally, a town in the Fukushima prefecture that suffered a nuclear power plant disaster caused by the tsunami in 2011 is also a hotspot.
There clearly is something going on over the skies of Japan.
This information was hidden until recently, but in the last 75 years, many high-ranking U.S. military and intelligence officers have reported UAP sightings near bases and spots associated with nuclear power and technology, including atomic test sites and naval ships carrying radioactive missiles. In the Middle East, the U.S. military documented an unexplained metallic orb flying at high speeds over the region in 2022. A similar object, known as the Mosul Orb, was observed by an American spy plane over Mosul, Iraq in 2016. Little is known of either of these incidents, and there's only speculation, either because the U.S. couldn't investigate them or something's being swept under the rug. While U.S. lawmakers are working to investigate alleged UFO conspiracies, the Japanese military has been instructed to document unexplained objects in the skies.
I thought this was very strange, as we had already interviewed two pilots who had several incidents and testimonies that they gave us regarding various pilots' encounters in the air and from the ground.
In the Middle East, the concentration of UFO sightings poses a concern in active war zones, as it could lead to misidentifications and unintended crossfire. A heat map displaying concentrated UFO sightings was released during an April congressional hearing by the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, a specialized division of the Pentagon responsible for investigating UFOs, which has subsequently released its own website where you can access every closed case regarding UFOs. During the hearing, Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, the director of the office, showed a short video of the 2022 incident and emphasized the difficulty of fully identifying such objects based solely on video evidence. Dr. Kirkpatrick mentioned in a subsequent NASA presentation in May that ARO was investigating over 800 reported cases of UAPs, but only a small percentage, around 2 to 5%, were considered truly suspicious. But considering it would make it potentially up to 40 alien ships, it's not a small number. In the United States, reported UFO sightings are heavily concentrated along the West Coast in cities like San Francisco and Los Angeles.
We saw a craft. It was silent. It was hovering.
You know, obviously they concede that something unusual is underway.
As well as in southern East Coast cities like Miami. Dr. Kirkpatrick said that this concentration is due to a collection bias caused by the presence of sensors, training ranges, operational areas, and platforms in these regions. The reasons behind the high number of reported UFO sightings in Japanese cities and the Middle East were not explained in his presentations, despite being the main point of the hearing.
While we are still looking at it, I don't have any more data.
Notably, Japan's Fukushima has earned the nickname Roswell of Japan. In 2021, the International UFO Lab released 6 images and videos believed to be authentic UFOs after examining nearly 500 reports, most of which turned out to be mundane sightings like drones, birds, planes, or light reflections. Takeharu Mikami, the head of the International UFO Lab, suggested that 6 of the triangular flying objects could be legitimate UFOs. And this isn't the beginning of the story. The Pentagon has been investigating UFO encounters for decades, especially incidents around military bases and interactions with nuclear warheads.
All this Pentagon UFO, we've recovered crafts not of this world.
Former U.S. Air Force personnel have come forward sharing their encounters dating back to the 1960s. They said those UFOs had the ability to deactivate nuclear warheads. One notable incident took place at the Maelstrom Air Force Base in Montana in 1967 when an orange flying disc disabled 10 warheads.
There is evidence that someone, or more accurately something, has tampered with our nuclear capability.
ARO reached out to former Air Force launch officer Robert Salas to gather information about this encounter.
March 24, 1967, I and my commander, Fred Mywall, were on duty in Roy, Montana. He's screaming into the phone. He's yelling, "Sir, I'm looking at the front gate. I see this glowing red object."
Also, Dr. Robert Jacobs claimed that in 1964, he filmed a UFO that appeared to shoot down a test missile while working for the Air Force. Former U.S. Navy officer Sean Cahill was a witness to the well-known Tic Tac incident near the USS Nimitz aircraft carrier in 2004, and even he doesn't have any more intel. He encouraged people not to let biased individuals cloud their judgment when assessing UFO reports.
I'd never seen anything move like that in the sky, whether a meteor, an aircraft, or anything.
In 2021, at the 29 Palms military base near California, one of the largest marine training bases globally, over 50 witnesses reported seeing a triangular object silently hovering over the base. These witnesses not only saw it but also captured it in film and photos. They shared their evidence with investigative journalist Jeremy Corbell, who specializes in UFO and UAP investigations. The UFOs described exhibited extraordinary behavior. The initial assumption was that the lights might be flares, but eyewitness testimonies and iPhone footage from the scene challenged this explanation. 29 Palms is a massive marine base spanning around 1,200 square miles and renowned for conducting comprehensive military training exercises. The witnesses maintain that the craft remained stationary for an extended period between 10 and 25 minutes, which flares cannot do. Some even captured the outline of a triangular body in their photos, and as more people come forward with additional footage, the story deepened. The lights were followed by helicopters and a large convoy heading in their direction. Despite recognizing UFOs, neither the Pentagon nor the government nor the base officials came out with a public explanation for these sightings. In February of this year, a UFO was shot down over Alaska, and military officials have confirmed the downing of an unidentified object. However, specific details about this object remain scarce. The accounts provided by U.S. military pilots who were dispatched to examine the object have been inconsistent, which has contributed to the Pentagon's cautious approach to identifying the objects. Some pilots reported that the object interfered with their plane's sensors, while some claimed they saw no identifiable propulsion, despite it cruising at an altitude of 40,000 feet. The object was initially pushed as a Chinese spy balloon similar to the one downed near the coast of South Carolina. But the object in question was not similar to this one, nor was it connected to China, but nobody mentioned it could be extraterrestrial. What do you think about these strange sightings in active areas? Will they be swept under the rug as usual, or could this lead to something bigger? Comment down below and don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell.